What's up, Master Builders, and welcome back to Ginty Bricks Wary. And today I'm really happy to present to you lot of my next review, and it's going to be about this book, the Forest Wary series. And I know what you might be wondering, why am I going to be reviewing a book when my channel is all about Lego? Well, number one, it's a train book. Yay! And the second reason why is because it's actually been written and illustrated by my best friend. Yep, my best friend actually have written and illustrated this book. So I am so chuffed with him at the moment. This is quite impressive. And the reason number three, it's just the fact that all the trains, all the stations, and most of it is actually inspired and actually based on the Dean Forest Wary, the wary that I volunteer at. So I'm wondering how much they have to go through to actually get all the permissions to use the engine, the location of the wary. So with all that, all those three reasons why, this is the review of the Forest Wary story. And of course, I picked it up on Saturday. This Saturday's just gone on because of course that's actually the first day it's been released, so it's brand new, came down to the actual shelf, and I think I might be the actual first person to actually get it. And of course I was having a lovely read of it, and of course the first thing you're going to notice, especially on the front page, is the illustration is fantastic. It's like, if you've ever been to the Dean Forest Wary, you can straight away tell what station that this lovely engine is at. And of course, what I'm thinking of though is to, even though I want to talk about the book and show you every single page, but of course that would be spoilers. So, how to tell you the stories without even mentioning or giving out spoilers? Well, let's go by the most obvious thing that the book people can do. Read the back. Yes. And it says on the back, on the Forest Wary, Prairie 5541 meets a sheep family. No, wait, my mistake. The sheep family. See, I can't even pronounce it myself. Right beside the tracks. Trouble is down the line, and Prairie knows it. What will she do? Follow Prairie 5541 on her journey and find out her awkward situation doesn't send her off the rails. And they say I made the bad puns. This delightful story is set in the glorious Forest of Dean, where the sheep have long had the right to wander around whenever they want. But even sheep shouldn't follow the rules of the railway. It is true though, if you go to the railway, you're most likely the train's gonna stop at some sheeps. That is actually true. Most likely Park End, when the sheeps are most likely places that you encounter them. It doesn't happen all the time, but once in a while though, you do get stopped by a sheep. And to be honest though, there is actually one page that I want to show you a lot that is amazing view of how good the illustration is. And 1 second, the first 2 pages are literally non-spoiler, so this is why I want to show you the illustration. And trying to fit it all into the screen. There you are. Yeah, this is how good the illustration is. You can just see right here that it's actually pretty good. And of course, if you've ever been to Dean Forest Railway, you would automatically tell which station this is. And that is one thing that I liked about the book. It's the fact that you can open up one of the pages, well, most of the pages, and you can tell which station the engine's at. Like this one, you can automatically tell. You're not allowed to read which station. You have to guess it. Screw it. I just looked at the camera. It's so unnotable. But yes, it's just like you can tell which station it is, so that's good on him. Of course, the front page is actually the most obvious which station it is as well. So I give him credit for making the station, making the location look realistic, that you can actually pinpoint it. So to be honest, if you could show it to any volunteers, they could actually pinpoint where it is actually. Only a few pages that they won't, but I would understand. And of course, you can recognize what kind of engines they are as well. And there's a big part in the back as well to mention who the engines are and what you most likely will see in the future. I hope so. And of course, you can just have a little read as well. Like I said, this is the only page, apart from the one before it, is not spoilers. But I am so chuffed with the actual artwork, the illustration, and of course I want to show you the page before it, because of course, look at that, that is quite amazing. The illustration looks quite good. I think there might be a part on the railway that this could actually be, but I'm not sure. This is the part where you can't really ask a volunteer where it is, because since they're most likely on the train all the time, they most likely won't know. But yes, you can just see how the illustration is so good. And that is one thing that I want to make across, because of the illustration. But it's not all about the illustration though, it's all about the story writing and how did it actually come off. Well, I don't know how to say about the storyline, because of course I don't want to give no spoilers away. I would prefer you lot to buy the book and find out for yourself. But it's kind of do sort of remind you of the Railway series. How do I mean by that? Well, it's just sort of the fact that the engine actually sort of learned its lesson by itself. It's sort of one of those sort of like messages of, you think you're doing something right, but it kind of derails you at the end. Don't worry, I didn't spoil it then. I actually knew a line in the back. But yes, it's really creative. It's actually structure. That's the word I was looking for. It's so structure of how the story went along. It's kind of like, it sort of went with the normal children basics, but it actually felt a decent amount of writing actually came into it to actually kept me interested. It's like kept me interested so much I actually read it like 3 days now, and I just don't want to stop reading it. So yep, that is actually going to be my review of the Forest Railway stories, and I really hope my best friend will actually write more on these books. And to be honest, like I said, sorry, I was about to say, like I said, these are books on amazing, great illustration and all that, so I'm really chuffed with his work. I'm really proud of him, and I'm really hoping to see what he's got next. Because of course I can just see up there, it does say book number 1, so I'm really hoping that he might be thinking about writing a whole series of this or something like that. But with all the praises out of the way, if anybody fancy buying this book, I will put the link in the description below of how to get this book. And if you're, well, the obvious place to where to buy this book is if you go to the Dean Forest Railway is the most obvious option to do, like I did. This is how I got my book, is because I went to the Dean Forest Railway, bought the book, and that's how I got it. And also some local area in Gloucestershire or maybe Monmouthshire-ish might actually going to be selling these books soon. but anybody else out of that section, I think you would have to go onto the link below to find out. And of course, the book is £5, and to be honest, I actually know the post and packages, because before I made this video, I actually checked the post and packages, and I'm going to put down the book for a second and let you enjoy looking at my Lego Firecraft set. And because, to be honest though, I have kind of cheekily took a picture of the post and packages. Not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one. There we are. Basically, if you're getting it online and you're in the UK or Ireland, the post and packages will be £2.50. If you're in Europe, it'd be £7. And if you're in the worldwide zone, basically anywhere else that is not Europe, £9. You might be wondering, that's a bit steep. And all this is actually British pounds, by the way, so make sure you actually check in which currency you're in. But you might be wondering, that might be a little bit too dear to buy one of this book, but to be honest though, it is worth it though. It is literally worth buying this book, even with the big giant shipping costs on it. It's only just because amazing illustration, how it structured the actual storyline. And of course, the publisher is literally in the UK, kind of little publisher kind of thing. So I kind of understand why the shipping might be a bit too expensive, but it is a good book to pick up. And this is why I want to recommend anybody to buy this book. Not only because it's my best friend who actually wrote it, it's not because it's based on my Steam Wary, it's just how good of the illustration and also the structure of the story actually went on. But anyway though, just before I go, I kind of being cheeky and actually built some Lego models of these engines as well. So wait until a few days time to see some reviews of some of these engines into Lego form. And to be honest though, I'm not going to tell, this is why I did not show you the last pages. The last 2 pages that kind of ruins the surprise of who I'm going to be releasing next. So if you really want a quick sneak peek of who is actually will be building, go ahead and buy the book and actually cheat for yourself. But anyway though, until then though, see you soon, and don't forget, everything is awesome. Bye!